Welcome back to another Real Lounge Entertainment video. My name is Tyler, and today I'm going to be telling you guys my most anticipated movies of 2026. If you guys have checked up on the page recently, I did post a video about my review of last year's movie list. If you haven't checked that out, please go be sure to check that video out. Now, if you know me, there's definitely a couple obvious ones out there, but there are also some ones on this list that might be shocking to you and shocking to me. But other than that, let's get right into these. My honorable mentions this year include Scary Movie 6, Evil Dead Burn, and Mandalorian and Grogu. First, let's talk about Scary Movie 6. Personally, I'm not a big fan of them. I think I've only watched the first one all the way through, and I think a couple clips to the other ones. But the one thing that does interest me about this is me being a horror fan, what type of movies they're going to parody in these. So it might be pretty cool seeing like Get Out might be pretty cool to do. I think they could do some pretty cool stuff with that. But personally, not a huge fan of the Scary Movie franchise, but let me know down in the comments if you guys like those. Next is Evil Dead Burn. Just again, I'm not a big fan of these series. I actually watched the first original one a couple months ago, which I thought was pretty solid. But besides that, I've only seen the Evil Dead Rise when that came out in I think 2023. I had a pretty good time with that, watching with my friends in the theater, so that was pretty fun. But I'm always down to see a evil, twisted Evil Dead movie, so I'm pretty excited for it. And the last one on my honorable mentions is Mandalorian and Grogu. This one questioned me a little bit because now this is the first Star Wars movie since the horrible Rise of Skywalker, but that's a different day. But this being originally a TV show turned into a movie scares me a little bit. There was some cool stuff about it in the trailer that I did like. Seeing Babu Freak, I thought that was kind of funny. But I'm still excited to see cute Grogu on my screen. I just hope that there's enough good aspects of the TV show to be a movie, if you know what I mean. Now, entering my top 10, I have Disclosure Day. Now, when I first saw this trailer, wasn't too sure what I was getting out of this, but I think I watched another trailer and it was a bit different than the first one. This is a Steven Spielberg movie, and he's one of my favorite directors. I think it's been a while since he's dropped a movie, so I'm pretty excited to see another one of his. But seeing this as a new Alien-esque type movie, I feel like a lot of movies coming out this year are either adaptations or sequels. So seeing that this is like an original script, also pretty cool to see. So I'm pretty excited. Coming in at my number 9, and this might be a little surprising to some people, but I do have the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I do have a few kids movies on this list, and this is one of them. I did watch the 2023 Super Mario Brothers movie. I thought that was pretty entertaining. I thought it was a solid movie, but me being a fan of like the Galaxy game, I think that would be a pretty cool aspect to see it on the big screen. So why not? Let's enjoy this movie. And coming at my number 8, I have Mortal Kombat 2. Now you might be asking yourself, but Tyler, I saw this on your list last year. Why are you talking about it again? Did you mess up? No, they pushed back the movie. This was originally supposed to be an October release, and now it's May. So I thought it was just funny enough to just put it on my list again. Just to keep it nice, sweet, and short. I really liked the first one. And I'm pretty excited for the second one now. And this is like the tournament part of the whole thing. So everybody's got to be excited about that. And coming at my number 7, I have The Rip. Now, I do know that this movie does come out in the month of January. I'm not too sure when this will be uploaded, but it does come out in a couple weeks. The one thing that does keep me really excited about it is the cast. I think it's pretty good. Seeing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck next to each other. If you don't know what this movie is about, it's basically about these cops finding these millions of dollars, and now do they trust each other? It's basically like a trust versus loyalty thing. It feels like a heist movie, so it's pretty cool. It very piqued my interest when this trailer dropped. They dropped it at the Netflix To Dumb event and stuff, so once I first saw that, I was pretty excited for this movie. And coming in at my number 6 and just missing my top 5 is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, me being a huge Spider-Man fan, personally, I feel like this should be higher on my list. But the only thing that we do have for this movie is just the cast and no trailer or anything yet. So hopefully we get that in the upcoming days and weeks. But I feel like I need a trailer for this. I'm not too quite sure their route that they're going with this. Like, I don't read any of the comics, so I don't know what the Brand New Day comic is all about. But I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm still a Spider-Man fan and a Tom Holland fan. So why not? And coming in at my number 5 is Toy Story 5. I'm definitely one of those people that say Toy Story 3 should have been the end of the Toy Story stuff. I did enjoy 4, don't get me wrong. Forky I thought was pretty funny. But now the one thing that does interest me about this is seeing the technology versus toys. And if there's any dads out there, I know life has definitely changed in the past 20 years and technology has been rising. So it's going to be cool to see an aspect of how they deal with kids and the technology and the toys. And I think I really want to see Woody and Buzz reunite again. So I'm pretty excited for this movie. And at my number 4, I have the very iconic Michael movie. Now, if you know me, I'm a huge sucker for some Michael Jackson music. He's definitely one of the most iconic performers out there in the world. And when they announced this, I feel like a couple years ago, because I think it was originally supposed to be last year, but they pushed it. I was super excited for this. I don't watch a lot of biopics, but with this being Michael Jackson, I thought really piqued my interest. I still remember like the days back in elementary school, I was listening to his music, and then that kind of put me in like the 80s genre stuff, and I'm a huge 80s guy. So I'm really excited to see this on the big screen. I did find out that he's actually being played by his nephew. So getting a family member to play you in a biopic, I think is actually pretty cool. So I'm excited for this. And coming in at my number 3, I have Scream 7. I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise. I was digging what they were doing with 5 and 6. 6 kind of teetered a little bit. I was a huge sucker for 5 though, and it kind of got me back into the Scream franchise. But with this movie coming out, I was super pumped. With the way that they ended 6, kind of setting up Melissa Barrera maybe teetering towards the dark side, which would be pretty cool. But then we got the news that, she got fired and then Jenna Ortega left. So I was a little nervous with them maybe just canceling the movie. But now that they brought back Matthew Lillard, Scott Foley, and David Arquette, piqued my interest because who wouldn't want those people back? But then you got to remember that they're dead. So it's a little questioning what they're doing with this movie, but they did release the trailer, I think, a month ago. Really piqued my interest. If you do want to hear my theories about that, because I think I do have the killers pegged, let me know down in the comments and I can make a video about that. But at the end of the day, I'm still a Scream fan. I'm still going to really like this movie, I think, and I'm excited for this movie. And coming in at my number 2, I have The Odyssey. Now, if you know me, I'm not a fan of like timepieces and stuff like that, like Greek mythology and all that. Definitely not my thing whatsoever. But seeing how stacked this cast is and it being under Christopher Nolan, I think that's going to draw in so many people's attention. And definitely seeing the trailer definitely piqued my interest a lot more because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of like timepieces and Greek mythology. I remember reading the book in school and watching, I think, a similar movie to it. But I think it's just the fact that it's a Christopher Nolan project and the way that they've been promoting this movie, I think makes it even better. So I'm surprisingly super excited for this movie, but let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about this. And finally, my most anticipated movie of 2026, and I'm pretty sure we all know what it is, Avengers Doomsday. Now, I theorized this movie with all my friends all the time. Super excited for this movie, me being a big Marvel fan. I love what they're doing with these teaser trailers, but at the same time, were they supposed to be leaked? I feel like that was another big thing for Marvel is these teaser trailers that they've been releasing. It was like Steve Rogers was the first one, and now we got Thor. They officially released the X-Men one. That one really piqued my interest going into this movie because I was sitting at home and all of a sudden Marvel's live streaming. And we're like, what is this? And it's the chair event. Seeing that live was really crazy. First they released Chris Hemsworth. Is this going to be a Thor 5 movie? But then there's another chair, and it's more people. Then they get to this X-Men cast, and it's like, oh my god, what are we doing? This is crazy. So seeing the X-Men stuff really piqued my interest. I'm a pretty big fan of the X-Men stuff. And finally seeing them in the MCU now. Obviously, None of those people I think are going to live, at least by the end of Secret Wars. I think we're eventually going to get a whole new cast for X-Men in the MCU. But the one thing that does also pique my interest about Avengers Doomsday is them re-releasing Endgame in theaters, I think for October or November. I can't remember. It's somewhere in the later months before Doomsday, but I feel like they might be connecting these two because obviously they're going to do something with RDJ with Iron Man, and since he did the snap, it caused other things to happen. Or maybe it was Steve Rogers putting back the stones. Like, we don't know yet. But that's another thing that piques my interest because maybe they could release another end credit scene that we don't know about. But I'm super excited about this movie. The cast, seeing RDJ as Doom, wasn't too sure how to feel about that at the beginning, but I think he's going to do a pretty good job. But I'm just super excited about this movie. I think it's definitely going to be one of the biggest movies of 2026. I just hope it doesn't get pushed. Well, guys, that's my list of my most anticipated movies of 2026. Let me know down in the comments how you guys felt about my list and what movies you're excited for. And let me know if I missed any. I know there were some movies out there that I potentially was going to be on my list, but then I changed it. I feel like Avengers Doomsday has got to be on everybody's list. But I'm super excited about these movies, and thanks for watching.